Good morning, guys. I hope you're keeping well. So, watering my plants has become part of my morning and evening routine in this season. It's been so dry lately, and every morning I have to make my way to my home to water my plants. And this will continue until the rains come back. You all remember the plants I planted on the little island last week. I just don't want to lose any of them, so this will continue until further notice. Our new members of the family seem to be getting comfy at home and enjoying the abundance of grass that we have here. I've been away for quite some time and I was so happy to come back and find that none of the plants dried. I think it's because just days before I planted them, we had had some rain and the soil was really moist by the time I was planting. So I guess that helped the roots to pick up, and so far so good. No plant has been lost, and I think that's the most exciting thing for me. The soil is very dry though, and I think this is the time when my plants need me the most. And I know in just a few months I will be reaping the benefits of having them in my yard. I still haven't installed an irrigation system in my home, so I have to make these back and forth trips to the well to fetch the water. But thank God it's within my compound, so I don't have to get very tired. The truth is, nothing good comes easy. One thing I've noticed this week is that the number of birds visiting my home has increased. And I guess it's because our garden has a lot of vegetables right now. A few fruits are fruiting, like the mulberry, and the flowers are blooming. And I guess those are the things that attract birds to a place. So it's only fair that I provide water for them, since we only have one source of water, which is the well. And my prayer is that they stick around. I really love to watch birds. It's kind of a therapy for me. I never forget to give a treat to my chickens who are still locked up. So every time I come here, I harvest some collard greens for them, chop it up, and then I add to their feed, and they really, really love it. I used to buy the veggies from the market on my way here, but these days I'm so glad our garden has some vegetables, so I don't have to buy. I just pick a few leaves from here and give them to the chickens. It has been a really amazing experience keeping chickens here. There's a lot of life in the home, and we are currently getting 5 eggs a day. We have 5 chickens, so that means all of them are laying, and it's so satisfying collecting those eggs at the end of the day every day. I'm still keeping the chickens in one of the rooms in my villa, but the big plan this month is to build a chicken coop, and then we are going to bring in more chickens. This time we are bringing the indigenous breed, which will be laying eggs and sleeping on the eggs, so they are mainly for multiplication of our flock. I'm really looking forward to that. At the same time, I don't want to keep so many chickens that are hard to manage. I want something manageable, so I will be eating a lot of them. I know most of you feel so bad eating their animals, but God made them as food for humans, so I will be eating most of them as they multiply. The goal is to be self-sufficient in many ways, so the chickens will be providing my protein in terms of eggs and meat, and our garden will be providing our vegetables. Self-sufficiency is a journey, and we are taking that step by step, and I know one day we will get there. Cutting grass and raking is still our weekly routine. There's still a lot of grass, but I'm so glad it's helping so much in this dry season. We're using it to mulch our gardens and the trees around the yard just to keep them moist. We don't want to lose them to this harsh dry season. There's definitely more grass than we need for mulching, so the rest we just pile up in our compost pit. And I know when we begin our raised beds, then they will be very useful in those beds. More so in improving the texture of our clay soil and also in filling up the beds, which are usually quite hard to fill up with soil. Do you see the whistling pines I planted a while back? They're growing pretty fast. You can see them lined up along that fence. It's in dry seasons like this that you realize the importance of planting trees in your home. We all need that shade because the space indoors is unbearably hot. There's so much grass here. Every week we cut heaps and heaps of grass. I don't know if I should be bringing in more animals to feed on them. My only fear is I am going to lose my trees and flowers. Animals can be very destructive to plants, and zero grazing them is too much work. I prefer when they walk freely and enjoy the grass. So that's something I'm still debating with myself about. And if I feel it's okay, then I'll bring in more cows or goats. Though goats don't eat so much grass, they always prefer to feed on the leaves of plants, and that makes them even more destructive than even the cows. So every time I come here, I do some maintenance work, and I'm so glad this particular hibiscus is now flowering and it's really showing off. I plant new flowers and trees every week. Remember, I lose more trees than I plant, so every time I come, I'm always planting something. Flowers like this one here have to be thinned every time I come here. They pour seeds that could fill the entire yard if not controlled. Right in front of my camera is the mulberry tree. You remember it was growing so tall, it was about to touch the power line, so I cut it. You can see how short it is now, and I'm glad it's already producing new branches, and I think this will make it easier to harvest. We don't pet animals like sheep here, so most of the time you'll find them running away from humans. But the moment they see and feel your intentions, then they get comfortable and just play along. I'm not very good with animals, but I realize they really enjoy this rubbing around their neck. It makes them really, really comfortable, and they will always give a nod when they like it. I'm trying to build some trust with the animals, so I try to spend some time with them. The tomato seedlings we planted last week are looking green despite the heat, and they're growing. They seem much bigger than they were the last time I was here. That's the time I planted them. So I'm going to add mulch so that we keep them moist. Our garden experiments must succeed at all costs. The biggest challenge I have with the mulching using grass is the termites always come and feed on them, and in no time the soil is bare again. So I have to keep refilling the mulch on these plants every now and again, and that's a really tedious job. When applying mulch, I always layer a lot of it. I think the more the better, because that means the moisture in the soil doesn't escape easily. And when it's dark, also the weeds don't grow. Looks like our weekly routines are multiplying. Harvesting of the chilies has also become a weekly activity, and today they are really showing off. The maize and beans we planted the other day are grown and we are already weeding them. Part of the farm has been weeded and that other bit hasn't. With maintenance, more bananas are fruiting and the garden just looks amazing. So I will go ahead and pick out the ripe chilies, and I'm currently having a lot of that because every time I find the red ones, I pick them out. So it's more than we can eat raw. So I'm currently just drying them in the sun, and then I will make chili powder, which we can always use on our food. I've noticed some ants on them which are feeding on the flowers, and I guess this is going to affect the yield. I'm just not sure of a way to keep them away naturally. The birds also enjoy eating chilies so much, and they've been feeding on my chilies. I guess this is one of the reasons so many birds are migrating into my yard. And I love it. I'm not complaining. I have enough food here to share with the birds and any form of nature, as long as they're not destroying everything. I think one reason the chilies have remained really healthy is because of the mulch I applied immediately I planted the seedlings, and they've been here all this time, and my chilies have never dried up. Instead, they continue producing lots and lots of chilies. I thought the dry season was going to affect the fruiting, but it seems the soil has enough moisture to keep them going. So I'll keep piling mulch here so that I don't lose any of the things I've planted here. And they're quite big in size and look very, very healthy. So when I say maintenance is everything, it's quite evident ever since we started doing good maintenance in our yard. Even the bananas are producing more. Every tree has a fruit, and that's really, really amazing for a foodie like me. So I always want to make sure that every time I come here, I do a little extra. There's always a new vegetable I'm adding to the garden. So today I'm not adding a vegetable, but I'm making a nursery bed using these containers. You remember the watermelons I planted dried out. I think I did some poor mulching. I also planted them right next to blue gum trees. Blue gum trees have a way of taking up all the moisture in the soil and leaving the plants around it dry. So we didn't get to harvest watermelon, and it's another season to try again. So I'm going to plant them in these containers, and then after they grow, I guess the rains will be here, and then we can transfer them to the garden. And I'm hopeful to this time we're gonna have a harvest. So thank you for watching my video and always hanging out with me. It's really amazing having you here. And I think with this we come to the end of our video today. It's bye for now. I'll see you in the next.